Hey there, Jamie Smith, CF Pro Tools. I wanted to share with you today a very, very cool technique that a lot of people have run into problems with, and this technique actually solves the problem. The problem is that if you go and you build out a page in ClickFunnels, say you start with a sales page template, and then you realize that, hey, I need to put products on this so I can have an order form. If you started with a sales page template, you're not going to be able to add products or an order form to that page because each page type has certain elements that can be added. You can't add an order form element or order bumps or product selectors to a sales page type. You also can't order, you can't add one-click upsell buttons to an order form. You can't you can't add certain elements to certain page types. And so that is where, being able to take, if you've spent hours crafting a beautiful sales page and you want to add an order form to it, but you didn't make it an order form to start with, you just wasted hours of work. This little tip will help you overcome that by giving you the ability to convert your sales page into an order form, or your order form into an OTO page, or your sales page into an OTO page. Basically, you can take and copy the entire content of a page into another type. The other thing that this is good for is it actually allows you to take, if you create, say you want to have a site build out in ClickFunnels and you want every page to have the base foundation elements, and then so you can kind of go in and you can create the wrapper, the headers and the footers and the menus and the styles and the backgrounds, and set all of those things up, and then you want to copy that and have 4 or 5 pages that look the same, and you just want the content to change. This is a quick and easy way for you to do all the design work, all the wrapper work in one time, and then easily copy and clone that page into others. You can do that with page templates now, but even with page templates, it's sometimes doesn't work the greatest. This gives you the ability to actually take and copy that the entire page, everything about that page, into another page quickly and easily. So I just want to run through how this works real quick. And so I'm inside of my test funnel, and I'm going to go ahead and, just so we can see how this works, I'm going to go ahead and create a new page here. And so we're going to start from complete scratch, and we're just going to call this one testing page copy 1. So, and we're going to create this funnel step. And there we go. Okay, so now we have got this, and let's create this as a sales page template type. And so we're just going to go ahead and create sales page. And I tend to like this template right here. It doesn't matter a lot for this, but we'll go ahead and select this page template. It's creating the page. Okay, so now let's go into our page editor here. And so on this page template, we can see we've got all of our content here. And the problem is that, hey, guess what? Let's go in. We want to say we wanted to, hey, I want to add an order form to this page. Well, if we go into add an element, you notice we have no order form option here. There's no option to add a product selector or a 2-step order form or anything like that, because this is a sales page. That's not one of the elements that's available on a sales page. So if we wanted to add something to this, it's just not going to happen. So what we can do is actually do something pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create another page, and we're going to call this testing. We call the last one test page copy, and we'll call this one test page copy 2. It's creating the page, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and let's say, okay, so on our first one we've got our beautiful page, and we want to add an order form to it. We need it to be an order form type, so let's go ahead and go in and create an order form. And this one, it's not going to matter what template we select, because we're going to override it with brand new content anyways, but I'm going to go ahead and select this one because it's simple and easy. And so now we've got our order form page created. And so this is what we need to do. We need to go back in now, and this is where having a good code editor comes in handy. I use on a Mac Coda too, but you can really do this with a lot of things. It's good to be able to do, grab your code and put it into a nice editor where you can visualize it and use the find or a search and replace feature. So I'm going to go back into page copy 1 now, and I'm going to edit this page. And this is where it gets a little technical, and be very careful with this. You don't want to do this if you've got a working order form. Don't use this to copy an existing page onto that order form. It's very possible that you might break things. So make sure you're starting with a fresh copy. Make sure you make duplicates or clones of your pages so that you kind of have backups that you can roll back to if you need to. But what we're going to do is we're going to go in here, and I like to just hover over this black empty area in the editor bar. We're going to right click, and I'm inside Chrome, and so I would recommend you do it from there. I've not tested this Firefox. It should be the exact same process, but this is inside Chrome for me. So what I can do is right click on this and do inspect. Again, this is Chrome on a Mac, and then what I want to do is in this little inspector here, this is in the elements area, so I'm going to scroll to the top, and then on this HTML element, that's basically the entire content of the page. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on that to highlight it, and then I'm going to right click, and I'm going to do copy and copy outer HTML. This is going to copy the entire content of this page. So I'm going to copy outer HTML, and then I'm going to go into my code editor, and I'm going to open up a new window here, and I am going to paste in my code. Okay, and so this is Coda. It's a little ugly. It's a lot of content, but we're not really going to do much here. So I'm just going to scroll up to the top here. Okay, there we go. What we need to do now is we need to actually go and get our page ID. So this, what we can see here is that this data lander ID, this is the ID number of this page within inside ClickFunnels. You can also see it, it's in the URL here, 9851822. We need to make note of that number, so I'm going to take it. I'm going to go totally offline here, and I'm going to write down that number, 9851822. I'm going to mark that original, okay? And so now I can exit out of this because I don't need this anymore. Next, what I want to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to find the page ID of my new page, okay? So if I go and edit page here, then this page, again, the ID is this 9851828. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down, 9851828, and this is my new page. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back into our code editor, and if you've got a search and replace feature, this is where you can use that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a search on our original ID 9851822, and then we're going to use the replace feature 51828. If your editor doesn't have search and replace, you can just simply do a search, and then you can manually replace if you need to. But I like using a code editor that's got a search and replace. So what we're going to do here is we're basically going to search for that original ID, and we're going to replace it with the new ID. So I just use my little arrows here, and it's going to bounce to my first instance of that ID. So the very first one is the one we already saw, and that is my data lander ID. I need to change that value to the value of my new page ID. So I'm going to hit replace. You could also just manually type that in and replace that if you needed to. And then I'm going to click my next to find my next instance of my original ID. And so we can see here now we've got a JavaScript that references that page ID. So I'm going to go ahead and replace that one. I'm going to go to my next one, which is an editor class here. I'm going to go ahead and replace that one. And then I'm going to go ahead and click next one. This is going to replace my form control. It's given me a master page ID. I'm going to replace that one. and then my edit page, place that one, and I should have another one there, and this one preview URL is going to change as well. Place that one, and that is it. So there are no more instances of that original 985.1822. So basically what we've done is we've just gone through and replaced every instance of the original page ID with the new page ID. And then we want to copy all of that content. We're going to copy it. And now we're going to go back and reverse the process. So now we're in the editor for our new page ID. So now I want to, again, I'm going to right click. I'm going to do inspect. My inspect window is already up, but just so you can see how it works, in fact, let's just close it out and start from scratch. So we're inside of the editor here. I'm going to go again over into my black little empty area. What I don't want to have happen is highlight over something and click inspect, because that adds a little HTML every time you do that, and the inspector will pick that up. So we want nothing to be highlighted on the page. We're going to right click. We're going to do inspect. And I'm going to scroll up to the top, and I'm going to click on the HTML element, and then I'll right click and I'm going to do edit as HTML. And that's going to pull up this window here. And if I do Command A on a Mac or Control A on Windows or whatever, and highlight everything, I basically want to select all of that text, and I'm going to paste in my original, or yes, the template for my original. And so I pasted in that original page template code, and I'm just going to click outside of that, and it's going to set that. And you'll notice that now I have all of that content that was in the original page is now here. Okay, so there's a couple things that, you know, we'd love to see happen with this page, but aren't going to happen off the bat. We'd love to be able to click the save. The problem is that because we've replaced all of this content, the standard save button no longer works. But we have a way around that, and this is where we get into our console. And again, this is a little technical, so make sure you're doing this exactly as I say here, and be very careful. Make sure you always have backups. So what we need to do is go into console, and basically console is just a little command line. Like if you used to have to program computers with your old Apple IIe, is what I used in high school. Command line is the way to do that. It's kind of like typing out and telling the computer exactly what to do. So we've got a little command line for our page, and what we need to type in is save, all lowercase, save, and then an uppercase P, A-G-E, lowercase, parentheses, open and close parentheses. And then I like to put a little semicolon at the end that tells it this is the end of the line, and hit enter. And you'll notice our save button spins, and it checks and says saved, and you're good to go. And the exit button is also not going to work, but that's fine. We don't need it to work. It's going to tell you, hey, sorry, you can't do that. That's okay. I'm just going to open up. We've already saved it, so I'm just going to open up new ClickFunnels here. And I'm going to go back into my funnel. And I'm going to scroll down now, and I've got now, notice that my page name is now testing page copy 1, but you notice it says order below it. So it took the name, it took everything from that original except for the path, and it's now an order page type. So if I go in here, you'll notice the path is the original, test page copy 2, and the gobbledygook at the end. But you'll notice now my thumbnail is the same, and now I can actually click the edit page. I can go in here, I can go in and add a new element. I can say, hey, I want to add my 2-step order form. I want to add it to my page. I want to save it, and I want to exit. And it's going to grab a little thumbnail, and let's just go ahead and pop this open or preview it, and you'll notice, hey, fantastic, I've got my little order form on here, and that's all there is to it. We've got a fantastic duplicate of our original page that is now, or was originally a sales page and is now an order form page. So you can use this for any type. If you build out a nice, beautiful opt-in page and you figure out that, hey, I need to have an order form in here, you can do that. If you build a nice, beautiful order form page and you realize, hey, this was supposed to be an OTO page, you can do that as well. So this works for that. And then also if you have a page that, hey, I want to build out a nice, beautiful wrapper page, but not put all my content in it. Or hey, you build it out and you have a bunch of content, you want to create a duplicate of that and then strip out the content, you can certainly do that as well. But if you want to use it as different types, if you're just creating a bunch of sales pages, you can just clone them. That's the easy way. But if you need to actually have a wrapper that's one's an opt-in, one's a sales page, one's an order form, and one's an OTO page, this is a good way to do that. So hopefully this has been helpful. This is not something to share inside of the regular ClickFunnels Facebook group because it's a little advanced and most people aren't prepared to handle this sort of thing, but I want to share it with my VIP club and my platinum members. So hopefully this has been useful for you, and please use it safely. Make sure you keep copies of things just in case you need to roll back, and use it wisely. I hope it's fantastic for you, and talk to you real soon.